All right, let's dive right in. This is the mission history for the first week of May as delivered by Pastor Hwang Jae-jin. Okay, let's start with a bit of a puzzle. A tale of two streets. In Seoul, there was this attempt to name a street Calvin Road, after the famous religious reformer. Well, it was a total flop. It was met with a ton of public opposition and criticism. But then you have this other story in the city of Gwangju. A new street gets named Obang-ro, and it's not just accepted, it's celebrated. We're talking a massive citywide festival.
So, what gives? How can two seemingly similar situations end up so differently? One causes a huge fight, and the other brings a whole city together. What's the secret sauce here? What makes the difference?
Well, the answer to that puzzle starts with one man. His name was Reverend Choi Hang-jung, though most people knew him by his pen name Obang. And he's the reason Obang-ro, that celebrated street, became such a powerful symbol for the whole city.
Now, to really get who this man was, you've got to picture the world he was born into. We're talking 1880 in Gwangju. This was a time of radical, chaotic change in Korea. And Obang, he wasn't just watching from the sidelines. No way. He was right in the thick of it, a key leader in the Christian community and in the independence movement. People literally saw him as the spiritual pillar of Gwangju.
So how did he do it? How did one man earn so much respect that an entire city wanted to name a street after him? The secret wasn't just what he said from the pulpit. It was what he did. His life was really built on three core pillars of service, and that's where we find our answer. Okay, pillar number one. He was for the forsaken. This guy had this deep, unwavering commitment to the people that society had basically thrown away. He didn't just talk about helping people. He was out there, living it, pouring his energy into finding and supporting the most forgotten members of his community.
And look at the specifics here. It's pretty incredible. He started relief projects for beggars, a group that almost everyone else just ignored. And maybe his most famous work? He went to Sorokdo Island. This was a place where patients with Hansen's disease were sent to live in total isolation. He went there, brought them real help, and maybe even more important, he brought them hope. He was literally serving the people that nobody else would even go near.
All right, on to his second pillar. It was all about the future. Obang knew that if you really want to change things for the better, you have to invest in the next generation. And for him, that boiled down to one absolutely crucial thing: education.
And he wasn't just talking about it, he was doing it. He was a total pioneer. He opened the very first night school in Gwangju so young people could get an education. Think about the opportunity that gave them. And then he did something really progressive for the time. He set up a separate night school just for women. On top of that, he was a key player in founding the Gwangju YMCA, which is still a huge part of the community today.
But his work didn't stop at the city limits, not even close. Obang's third pillar was about something bigger. It was for the nation itself. During some of Korea's darkest moments, he showed his unwavering dedication. He was a true patriot, right down to his core. This wasn't just lip service. He put his own freedom on the line. He was a leader in the famous March 1st independence movement, and because of that, he was arrested and thrown in prison for a year and 4 months. His courage was so well known, so respected, that he got a personal gift from the legendary independence leader himself, Kim Gu, a handwritten calligraphy scroll.
Okay, so let's jump forward in time. We're now in 2009. When you think about this incredible life of service to the poor, to the young, to the nation, the idea of naming a street Obang-ro starts to make a lot of sense, right? It wasn't just some random idea. It felt inevitable. It was like the community was finally getting a chance to say thank you. And this is where we get to the real heart of the story, the philosophy that drove him. Remember that scroll he got from Kim Gu? It wasn't just a pretty piece of art. It had 4 characters on it that captured Obang's entire approach to life. Hwagang Dongjin. So what in the world does that mean? Hwagang Dongjin. It translates to something like harmonizing one's light with the dust of the world. Think about that. It's this beautiful idea that you don't stand above people and shine your light down on them. Instead, you bring your light down into the dust, you live among the people, you get your hands dirty, you share their struggles, you serve from within the community, not from above it. That, right there, was the essence of Obang. And so, in June of 2009, that very spirit was officially celebrated. On June 10th, the street was named Obang-ro. And then just 2 days later, the city threw a huge public ceremony, a festival really, to honor this incredible man and everything he stood for.
And here's where we get the answer to our question from the very beginning. Remember the Calvin Road controversy? Well, for Obang-ro, the organizers said there were, get this, no difficulties at all. Not from the city officials, not from the people living there, nothing. Just pure, unadulterated unity. In fact, the local government even promised to start new projects to keep his spirit of service alive. Everyone, and I mean everyone, was on board.
So what's the big takeaway here? The story of Obang-ro isn't just a cool piece of history. It's a powerful lesson, a blueprint for how to build a legacy that actually brings people together instead of pushing them apart.
And this is the absolute key. Reverend Choi wasn't honored just because he was a pastor. He was honored because his service was for everybody. The sick, the poor, the young people who needed an education, the whole nation. He didn't care about their background. His legacy wasn't about pushing a belief system. It was about taking action that lifted up the entire community. And that's why there was zero opposition, only celebration. So it leaves us with something to think about, right? In our world today, which can feel so divided, what can a story like this teach us? What does it really take to create a legacy that lasts? And not just lasts, but a legacy that genuinely unites us. Pastor James Huang, who served as a missionary in China and now serves in Maryland, USA, is a researcher of Korean mission history. He shares from his book, Remember and Repay, 52 Weeks of Mission Meditation every week.